Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, it's a $1.2 billion, that's billion dollar industry, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. What's your pathway to the pros in the esports industry? That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Okay, I have to confess, I'm a boomer, so I have not been paying attention to this trend, but the esports industry is now worth $1.2 billion, and it's grown 400% in the last 2 years. To talk about that today, Danny Martin, he is the co-founder and CEO of Esposure. Thank you for coming on the show.
For sure.
Okay, so before you say, okay, boomer, what have I been missing? When did the industry start, and how did it get so hot?
Well, you see the industry started around about 1970, and first StarCraft tournament where individuals traveled, and ultimately it was a Rolling Stones magazine that individuals were able to win. And then fast forward now, you're starting to see large tournaments all across the world right now that are offering prize purses from $200,000 all the way up to $20 million. So, at this point, it's a great opportunity for individuals to come together, collab, and to compete for games such as League of Legends or Dota or even Madden and NBA 2K.
Okay, tell us about how Esposure is changing your industry.
Wow, esports is about being educated, because boomers, parents, teachers, even students and competitors are understanding like this is a good industry, but how do I even get involved into the industry? And so for us, we've positioned ourselves as more of like that G League, that private school, that academy that really focuses on providing individuals critical portfolio building opportunities, so therefore they can showcase it to the prospective employers. Because in this instance, individuals are looking, founders and investors are looking to build companies inside of this space. So we just really want to be able to provide them a suitable pipeline of talent, so therefore we can contain and make this industry grow even more.
Okay, and so for that young person who's saying to mom and dad, trust me, I know what I'm doing. For sure. I'm going to go into esports. Let's show this overview clip.
Are you ready to join the billion-dollar industry of esports?
Think you have what it takes to be a pro or content creator?
Join other aspiring esports pros and industry experts in an immersive 4-week program presented by Esposure.
Explore careers in management, marketing, production, technology, and competition.
Gain access to cutting-edge tools and technology with our learning management system designed to help you build the ultimate fantasy esports organization alongside a live 5-day league.
Secure your seat now in a STEM-accredited esports program to learn about the many careers of esports, build your brand and portfolio, meet and earn with other esports pros. We bring the education and the entertainment. Start your pathway to pro today at www.esposure.gg.
Okay, so Danny, I want you to reassure the parents and the grandparents out there. So when that young person says, this is a career, it's not like saying, I'm gonna become a drummer.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel as if like I was that person. I was that person when I had to convince my parents that I was actively doing something in college that revolved around gaming and esports tournaments. And now we've been able to see over 8 gamers turn pro. 2 of those gamers just last week competed in NBA 2K League, and that was for a prize purse of over $1.4 million. And then actively being able to showcase individuals behind the scenes, from the graphic designing to the videography, because all of it needs to come together in order to have a successful esports event, and it's about providing opportunities.
We're going to show a little bit of video from the production reel that they just put together, and as we're watching this, kind of tell us what we're looking at.
For sure. For us at Esposure, we do virtual and live events out of our studios, and actively we love to incorporate gaming and esports. And so entities like NFL, NBA, ESPN, they reach out to us to be able to incorporate celebrities and content creators and streamers around esports events. And ultimately, everyone is looking at how they can incorporate esports into their non-endemic entity. And so at this point, that's something that we do, and it's a great way for our staff members to build their portfolio, so therefore they can showcase what they've done in the industry.
And you're doing something really exciting in Duncanville. Tell us about that.
Yes, for sure. We're going to be releasing a 8,000 square foot esports studios in Duncanville, Texas on October 8th. And its uses is for the actual immersion program. We want students to feel as if like when they come in their studio, it's a field trip. They can actively learn from the individuals that are there operating the Esposure entity, from marketing to management to event coordination and even education, while at the same time being able to utilize the actual studio to see live competitions, so therefore they can complete their assignments as part of their immersion program. So it's a really cool opportunity for them to get a hands-on view of what goes on behind the scenes, while also being a part of the scenes in the esports industry.
And Danny, you've captured the attention of the media as well. We've got a nice article from Dallas Innovates that we want to put on the screen. A great picture of you. It's nice to be able to share your story with the media and share your story on television programs like this. For the young person who's drifting at school, that they just haven't found their calling, what would you say to that young person? Is this a career that they should be thinking about?
Yes, especially if you're artsy, right? There's so many tools out there like Adobe Photoshop, like Final Cut Pro, just tinkering with a camera as we're in the studio right now, just being able to showcase your skill sets in any type of way. There is a pathway for pro inside of the esports and gaming industry. And at Esposure, that's our #1 focus point, is to be able to showcase to you all the different opportunities. So therefore, if you decided that, hey, I want to take these skill sets to make them applicable to any other non-endemic industry, they still can be something that you can be proud of. And this is what we like to be able to do here at Esposure.
Let's talk about COVID, because obviously for the last year and a half, we've all been indoors and a lot of us have been gaming. Sure. Was COVID and the lockdown good for the industry?
Yes, I believe so. When we first started, we were really hyper-focusing on everyone competing online, and then we were like, let's build this facility so it can feel like a reunion. If you competed with somebody for so many years and you've never seen them, this is a good feeling when you come to an event, and that's how esports is. When COVID hit, we just naturally went back to online, and so for us at Esposure, our facility then turned into a content house. So we built the technological platform and took the content that we created and applied it onto our esports learning management system, and provided that for students all across the globe to be able to learn management, marketing, technology, production, and even competition in esports. And then ultimately from there, it stemmed to actually add in value from an immersive experience. And so it was a really good opportunity to allow us to know that hybrid approach is critical. There are individuals that's going to be globally from a virtual perspective, and there are individuals that's going to want to come into a physical area and want to be able to network and communicate and collaborate, because those are critical skill sets that even the competitors are seeing that are valuable. Because if you get drafted to an NBA 2K team or Envy, the actual coaches and GMs want to know that you can be able to collaborate and you can be involved with the actual team and organization, and it's kind of really hard to get that from a virtual perspective. And so at this instance, we see the value of accessibility from a virtual, and then access as well when it comes down to a physical presence. So we see the value on both sides, but definitely the industry grew 10 times when it came down to COVID.
And I would suggest that it's probably still in its infancy. I mean, 10 years from now, if you're looking back and saying, I remember when I was saying it was 1.2 billion. For sure. I mean, it has unlimited potential, doesn't it?
For sure. If you look at hitmarker.net, which is the esports monster, you'll see, that the job careers are growing double each year. So when I first looked at it, it was like 5,000 jobs available, and now you're seeing jobs opening up all around because individuals are actively, building out esports organizations and gaming companies because they see the value, especially when everyone was forced to be at home. At this point right now, it was a really cool opportunity to really say, hey, let's get involved into this space. And you're starting to see individuals understanding the opportunities to impact individuals from a student perspective as well.
Tell me about your team, because you have a fairly young team, but they're all engaged, all super talented. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your team.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a staff members of approximately 22 individuals. 75% of those individuals are under the age of 25 years old. I remember specifically when starting Esposure, I used to go into high schools and colleges and say, hey, can I speak to your students? I'm needing a graphic designer, or I need a marketing social media specialist. And individuals will raise their hand and they would just be like, hey, I would like to be able to provide my portfolio. And little bit known, they've been working with us for all of these years, and actively now they look at the opportunity of saying being the greatest at what they do, while at the same time having to make that decision like, man, do I go to a larger organization or so? And we love that opportunity to give to individuals to go to a larger organizations, because it's about a pathway to pro. Like, we really want to showcase that there is a true connection, but this industry is young. The individuals are within the actual space are identifying that their talents that they can learn on YouTube can be something of use amongst esports and gaming organizations around. So I would say definitely, if you're young, if you're in high school and college, start to really leverage the platforms that are out to you, whether they're paid or free, and then really start to go and network within the actual industry and the community, because there is a need for what you like to do.
I think a lot of people still look at it as, oh, he's wasting wasting all his time on video games. But what you're saying is that not only is it a lucrative career, it's teaching discipline, it's teaching working with teams, collaboration. I mean, there's some great benefits to going into a career like this.
Very much so. When you think about large corporations, they love those skill sets, right? They want to make sure that individuals are collaborative. There's critical thinking, there's strategic. Playing games is just that, right? You have to identify how to tap into the leaderboard. You want to be the best, so you got to figure out how to, leverage the meta, of each game. And just as much when you're collaborating with other teams in the esports industry, those skill sets are very applicable to, obtaining the job, even outside of this industry. So we see it as a value no matter where you look to go. Esports is the platform, and I feel as if students should utilize it. And as you're seeing right now, educators are implementing gamification and gamified models to be able to impact the students. And so why not? This is a cool opportunity to engage, especially from a STEM perspective.
Tell me about starting career salaries. I mean, are we talking about 30, 40, 50,000?
Yeah, so it varies, but ultimately for us, it's starting around 30 to 40 to we even got 50,000 individuals, $50,000 individuals that are on our team. But we see, larger corporations, they're able to give $100,000 salaries and $120,000 salaries. But ultimately, when it comes down to esports and gaming, the organic nature of it is going out and compete and winning that big prize purse, right? Or doing it so well to where you can get picked up by a large esports organization like Team Envy that we have in Dallas, Complexity Maps Gaming, or any of the large and global esports organizations that are out there that most people know about.
Okay, I've got a random question. Because on the video, I saw you got some NBA. Is your discovery that if you're an NBA player in the physical world, are you also good at esports, or is it a completely different talent?
It's kind of, right? You have to know the game, right? And the next thing is you have to know the actual video game. So if you know the basketball game and you don't know the video game, it can hinder you in your process in regards to someone knowing the video game and also knowing basketball. So there's something inside of knowing NBA and how to play by the rules on the actual traditional courts, but it's a whole nother ball game on the virtual courts.
Yeah. So you're saying that a 7-year-old kid could beat Shaq?
Oh yeah. If that 7-year-old kid knows how to play a League of Legends or NBA 2K, oh yeah. And Shaq would definitely admit to it too.
All right, that's a good way to end this segment. We're going to end with the website, which is esposure.gg. Danny Martin, thank you for coming on the show.
For sure.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.